is the Wednesday, January 13th, 2016 Finance Committee meeting. On the agenda for tonight is the FY17 budget discussion, quick walkthrough of the budget, review the schedule of the meetings, and then we're going to discuss our scheduled meeting with the Ayer Shirley Regional School District. Devon's analysis questionnaire is on the agenda, but I do not have anything to present for that. Getting started, we received our budget packets before December. I did send out over Christmas break or the holidays an updated budget model. Lisa Gabri, the town accountant, has also forwarded us her tie-out sheet just to make, there's a few discrepancies I haven't had a chance to hone in on, but I will take care of that this weekend. So with that,
do you know what they are? I mean, I could help with updating if you know what they
it's so part of it is the FY16 data has some of the non-union compensation changes that occurred. So I have to go through, the way I update the model is just do a copy and a paste value from what we finished with after town meeting. And there's always seems to be some discrepancies of where the budget ends up from where it's, because it's a bottom line budget, so sometimes they shift lines. Big enough for everyone? Better? All right.
I wish I had that screen at home.
What's that?
I wish I had a screen.
Me too. So the moderator has no increase. On the Board of Selectmen, there are the wage increases, part of the non-union compensation study over for FY16 that kicked in. There is no COLA in this budget. And the town administrator is asking for new office furniture to replace, and it's a series. It's desk, I think some shelving units also. There is a detail in the packet of what he's asking for. Total is approximately $9,500. I think that's all. Yeah. In there. Benefits management, just a marginal increase on other charges. Reserve fund is still at $150. We'll have to have discussions if we want to continue to keep it at that level. On the town accounting side, there is a shift on the non-union compensation for FY16. There are some increases on some of the line items related to service increases. The audit services have gone up. There is office supplies, and apologies, I don't have this on one. I haven't had a chance to input all of the comments.
I don't have a copy of that spreadsheet in here, do I?
No,
okay.
no, sorry.
That's all right.
One-time expenses, so I guess the assistant is talking about possibly retiring in FY16, so the buyout on her PTO is $7,258, and then they anticipate advertising for the position would be approximately $2,700. And those would go in as one-time fees. On computer support, the big request is this $2,800 for training. That's to beef up, this is from the IT directors, to beef up the Munis training for all town employees. It's a, she'd provide details in the packet as to what it would entail, but that would be for all employees across all departments that utilize Munis.
Before we move off of computer support, do we know whether the stipend has been taken from the finance manager's contract?
No, it's still in there.
For computer support?
Yes. Yeah, everything is still in there for that contract. Computer support, education, and I think there's one more line item that pulls in there. Yeah, I feel the same way. Moving on to the Board of Assessors. So their request is on their secretary, the admin, to increase the hours from 37 to 40. The impact is $33.68 for the budget. Town treasurer just has a salary increase, so is level funded. Tax collector, the same, level funded. Finance committee, we're at $500. I elected to keep it the same. Just, I don't want to, we had 200 last year, but that was too low for when little things come up. Parking tickets are level funded. Town council, a $10,000 increase. This has been a little, kind of what the trend increase has been over the last 4 or 5 years. I know that last year when we had an update, there were some color commentary from the town administrator related to nuisance bylaws and other activities, nuisance properties that were causing the increase in town council. So it kind of follows the trends. We did get an update from the town administrator on the town council costs a couple months ago.
What's the increase?
$10,000 increase on a $90,000 budget.
The line item for legal services board of selectmen is 90, the total town council is 85.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't update on it.
Oh, all right.
It's a formula issue, sorry.
No, that's fine, because I don't understand how that happens, so
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
fine. Nothing for planning?
No, we've always handled it,
On the
it's always kind of gone into just that one line item. We had talked about splitting the legal services in the past, which is why in one budget year we did split it, but then we combined it back for the final budget. Management support is level funded. Sorry about the formulas.
So whenever I see the difference, it's probably just the formula
Yeah,
thing?
if I actually had the ribbon on top, which I can't figure out how to activate, I could update those.
Don't worry about it then, I just want to ask him.
Yeah, look over here. It's always good. Level funded for tax title foreclosure. Town clerk has level funding, just wage increases for salaries. And then on elections and registrations, so we have the presidential election coming up, so that's going to be an increased cost. Plus, she's continuing to kind of transition out from the current volunteers who are looking to kind of retire or step away from the elections. So there's some training and overlap with that, which is additional cost. Town hall postage is level funded. Personnel board did send a note. They're looking for a $400 increase. I hate this thing. I need to talk to Cindy and figure out how I can edit. Sorry. So that's going to go up $400 to $500.
Do we know what they want the extra for?
The extra $4, well, I think the 100 has been very low for the last couple of years. So they are looking at the personnel policy itself, so they're going to have a couple of public hearings for that, and the costs associated with that. For IT, some marginal increases on supplies and communication charges. She kind of shifted around. There was a salary increase, and then $12,000 one-time expense. That's for hardware and software upgrades. And they're starting to see kind of a collection of the hardware and software upgrades at the IT budget line, so the individual has more control over that. Conservation agent, just a salary increase, and if you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know. Planning and ZBA are still 0. I did have a conversation with the town administrator over the holidays about how that was being handled. He said that right now it's going to still lie within the management budget, et cetera, but he's also going to follow up.
On those budgets, at some point, if my memory serves me correctly, town administrator indicated that the legal issues with the former assistant or office manager, whatever the title was at the time, have been resolved, but they just haven't announced them. So, assuming that to be an accurate statement, at some point there should be no reason to not restaff and fund those positions.
I agree. Yeah, so I brought that up. It was last year or the year before, and I was told that because town meeting cut the budget, we couldn't just add it back
Right,
in next year. So I'm not
a
sure
proposal to town meeting.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what the steps are. My guess is it would have to be its own article.
Come from the planning board.
Yeah,
Right,
it would have to be their own.
Or actually, I
article.
think with the planning board, it would be in the budget, they would make the budget request. The ZBA would be under Board of Selectmen, so that would be how that would be done. But carrying that all the way forward, if those two budgets are refunded and staffed, what happens to the stipend the assistant to the town administrator is getting? Which would almost pay for half of that position salary.
That's a good question.
I bring that up just so that we kind of have it sticking in the back of our mind.
Okay.
Scott, excuse me for interrupting.
Yes.
But has the planning board requested a town planner? We've heard that discussion.
They
for a little
have, the
bit.
last conversation I had with the town administrator, they were backing away from that. They don't think, that depending on who you talk to, whether they don't think it's necessary or it's just not the right time to request that.
Okay, thank
Not
you.
much planning, but town administrator was at personnel board the other night. I don't know if you were here, Mary, pitching something, because it was very, and I say it that way, but he was extremely animated talking to them when I went by. I have no idea what it was. I didn't come in.
Those are the reclassifications.
Ugh. I don't even want to think about that.
Economic development is all level funded because the position is currently open. Public buildings is surprisingly level funded after the last couple of years of increases. The only thing is the salary increase. Building insurance has a 6% increase of 10,000. These will be these are estimates. These will be trued up. The police accident insurance as we get closer to I think February, end of February is usually when we get those.
Do we still have a communications committee that needs $700? Not that I'm looking for dollars, but I mean, I don't think
There
we even
is.
have-
It's now a.
IT.
It's an IT committee. Thank you. Yes, and Ms. Knox has requested that the funds stay, though they do not use them every year. It's something we can follow up on.
Have they ever used them?
No,
It's been a while. I think it's been 4 or 5 years.
but God knows we can't lose the line item. We could always put it back in, but we can't take it out.
Placeholder.
Yeah.
So on the police department, so the police chief is looking for increased staffing, and he did provide a memo for that. I did send back an email to him with some requests for information for our meeting with the police chief. Right now, he's looking for 2 additional dispatchers and 2 additional officers. So the question, I guess what I'm looking for, because as a town grows, your costs are going to grow, your service costs are going to grow because, and you're going to end up start seeing a shortfall because your revenue growth is far outpaced by your expense. And looking for more quantification of why, like if we need 2 more dispatchers, why? How many calls are we doing now that we weren't doing 5 years ago? Same thing with police officers. How many more calls are we doing now? And also, like, what shifts would those be on? What would be their usage, et cetera?
Because they just hired two.
I was going to say, have they filled Wilson and Morrison's positions yet? I know that they were training people.
I don't know.
Oh, they're on, I've seen them.
They've started, one's
Yeah.
name's Burns, I know that. When we get to the point of discussing dispatchers, however, while the dispatchers may be physically employed by the police department, they work more for the fire department, and I would certainly want us to ask Chief Pedrazi, because the
Mhm.
fire department gets 10 times the calls the police department gets.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from listening all day long that they've had a lot of fill-in dispatchers lately. And the 3 shifts at the police department have been a nightmare recently in terms of not having staff, and a lot of that was holidays, obviously,
Mhm.
but I think staffing is critical to both departments, in my own personal opinion.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And I've been advocating to him for years that he needs to look at that in the ad. So I'm
Okay.
glad to see that he's doing that finally.
Fire department is the increases are the contractual increase for the firefighters, then the overtime increase, and then call overtime has been increasing. And on the call overtime, the chief made a comment in his memo that he has more call living in towns, so there more people are showing up at the
They're
calls.
available.
Yeah. And then on supplies, he's looking for a trailer for the Kubota and the Class A uniform for one of the new hires.
They may have a problem with one of the engines, which apparently had no marker lights tonight.
That's all right, that's what flashlights are for. Every guy holds one out.
Thankfully, it was the chief who was following the truck, so he wasn't gonna run into it, but
That's good.
they might have just forgot to flip the switch, but.
Building inspection, so the building inspection, we just have a percentage increase for the wages, and then the weights and measures cost is going up for the contract. There's been some talk about a couple of things still, whether to hire a full-time inspector, whether to
Yes.
have an admin. There's the land use position that the town administrator and I spoke about, to cover building inspection, ZBA, planning, and there was one other group in there that could also pull from this
Maybe
budget. Conscom, yeah, thank you. That's the one. So there's more kind of to hash out with that.
It's an administrative union position, it's not a higher level of anything.
Yeah. Bar inspector's level funded, emergency management is minor increase. That is actually still the chief's original, though they didn't put the increase in the emergency management, they still kept the other part of his salary in there. Animal control officer percentage increase, and then the tree warden asked for, he had come to us back in December looking for some additional budgeting, so he's actually pretty much doubling his budget. A lot of that is for services, which goes into hiring tree services and also police details. DPW administration. So this one I did have some questions on. So GIS and CAD software
Parking stuff.
and a $15,000 parking study, so I do want to get more information on that. New doors and building improvements around the DPW admin building. And then there's a $500 increase for dues, licenses, and meetings, which are for additional staff. So the parking study is, I guess, something I definitely want to get some additional.
He doesn't explain it in his mail.
I didn't really have time to follow up and read everything, honestly. I just had time to put this together. Highway department has actually very minimal increases this year. There's a lot of flips between the line items. So stormwater, so it's zero in here, but I remember we got rid of the enterprise
This
fund
fund.
last year.
Where-
So I need to follow up and get some guidance. I believe there was actually a budget submitted for that, but I didn't include it here.
Whose salary would be in there?
The salaries would be split, so it'd be
Oh,
like a
from the
percentage
DPW,
of the DPW employees.
Let's hope that line item, snow removal, stays nice and low.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. So
Enough already.
so on snow removal, all this is based on averages, like 3-year averages, which last year was quite the outlier. So that's one. So it's almost doubling the overtime wage line item. There's $25,000 for snow services, but the question that comes to my mind, if we're hiring someone to do this, then we should see a
Less
decrease
overtime.
in overtime.
Should be an offset, almost equal.
The regional school, that's just going around, and then $46,000 increase for salt and sand. Which, if these are, the two things about this is these are the 3-year averages. Last year, like I said, was an outlier with a very high increased cost, but also this is the only budget line item we can deficit spend if we have to. So I personally would like to kind of fine tune these numbers and hone them down a little
And maybe
bit.
take a 5-year average rather than a 3-year or something like that.
Yeah.
Or throw out last year altogether because it was such
Yeah.
an anomaly.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've taken statistics. I don't forget how to handle those outliers.
Just throw them out.
Street lighting is a decrease of $10,000, which is due to the energy cost savings, the solar net metering. DPW fuel is level funded. there might be some room to wiggle on that because of fuel costs, but then again, if for some reason they do come back up over the fiscal year.
I wonder if in their fuel contract they have provisions for when the prices go way down, because the contract is done once,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you know, we run the risk of prices going down, but the contracts were put in place because the prices kept going up. So there should be some ability to
Yeah.
either renegotiate or get a better deal next year rather than go up.
Equipment, DPW equipment repair. So a lot of 3-year averages on the increases. CAD loader repair and maintenance, and then there is a new contract for DPW. I don't have, I didn't get a chance to send off I wanted a list of the contracts, both union and personal, that are coming due for this fiscal year.
It should be on the website.
This is coming.
What's that?
DPW, yeah, it's coming up.
Cemetery department, level funded. Board of Health, minimal increase for the admin. Neshoba Health, we don't have the assessment yet. Those will come in later on.
Oh, it should be, we voted it last Thursday.
Okay.
And I asked Heather to call Jim and remind him to get it into you.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Disability Commission, level funded. Council on Aging is only asking for the wage increase.
Well, I think we should look at that again too, and maybe see what we can do if we have the room in the budget to
Increase or decrease?
increase.
So we gave them $10,000.
A couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah,
At
2
least,
years
at
ago.
least 2, maybe 3, yeah. She didn't want any last year at all.
No, she didn't want any additional last. Well, we gave them the single 10,000, and then I think we put it in. So we put it in permanent. No, it was parks we put in permanently.
Mhm.
But when we gave them the extra 10,000, they didn't use it. They ended up giving back a significant portion of it. It was in the packet that I handed out that we got from the town accountant from the buy board meeting. She goes into it. She has a sheet that shows where the free cash comes from,
Mhm.
and you see which departments gave money back and how much they gave back.
I know that you can find that out through the munis thing, the annual munis budget. Is that one of the emails that we got with all of the documents from Lisa?
No, it was a handout from one of our December meetings, November, December meetings.
This past November,
Yeah.
December?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing it at all.
We're very paper heavy here. I understand
Yeah,
it's
no,
hard
no.
to keep track of everything. I have 5
Well-
boxes at my house of paper.
Don't talk about boxes. I've been moving them around all vacation.
So I guess the other point to the Council on Aging was last year the request was they're using a grant to pay for the nutritionists
Mhm.
if we want to look to fund that. I think to keep costs down from an overall perspective, I mean, if they're getting the grant to pay for it, they should continue doing that. If for some reason they don't get the grant, it can be handled through a reserve fund transfer.
And if they're not using the extra money that they
Yeah.
were budgeted, then
Veterans agent, so the agent himself has a decrease of $350, just lowering his supplies and services. Veterans benefits, so after keeping it 168,000 for I think the last 3 years, he's bringing it down based upon more what he actually sees. There was some concern over the last couple of years that we would see an influx of veterans needing assistance. On the library, so the library did a reclassification study of their employees, and that is reflected in the $63,000 request that they have. So there is a required percentage of their budget that has to go to periodicals, et cetera, and I have not had a chance to line up this, so I don't know if there's an additional impact on that. I have requested from Ms. Looked numerous times to give us her reclassification data so we can take a look at it.
What is the impact if we lose the accreditation or whatever it is that if the ratios are off? I mean, what do we receive from that?
So with the accreditation, we receive the most important thing that we receive is the ability to use the other libraries around us. So if you look online and Shirley has a book, or even,
But Ayer doesn't.
Ashburnham has a
You
book,
get it.
they'll ship it to Ayer, et cetera. So that's the big thing that we would lose. There's other things with state funding that they would also lose.
They lose a percentage or all of their state funding if they lose their accreditation.
They lose all of their state funding.
So
And that's the-
valuable.
It is, yeah. We went down that path during the recession. We asked that very same question. You can ask for a waiver on, having that minimal funding for the library, and we had a very heated discussion at that point in time. And ultimately, we did keep the funding in there. But yeah, there is a lot that goes into the accreditation.
Some towns have lost it because
And
they did
it's-
a waiver and they just said,
They never brought it back.
you
Yeah.
didn't bring this stuff
And it's
in."
also, it's very difficult to get back.
Mhm.
Because so just to give you a scenario, if you lose your accreditation, say you level fund the library for 2 years, you lose your accreditation. In order to get the accreditation back, you have to fund it to where it should be. So if it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be like a 2.9% increase every year. So you do that 2.9, that's what you have to fund it at. So it's not just a simple, all right, now we're going to give it the whatever percentage increase that's required.
It's more compounding of the
Yeah.
increases.
What did you say that the increase was?
So for salary, they're requesting a $63,000 increase, which is driven by the reclassification study. And then there's
It's funny how they were able to get theirs done so quickly.
well, they did it themselves, which is honestly my concern.
Is that a conflict of interest for them to?
No, they have an elected board that does it. The trustees are elected and they set all that.
So, but from my perspective, I just want to see, what they used for data, and, it's one thing, because on the non-union personnel study, we harped on the list of comparable towns. And, it's very important because, if you're going to put in like a Wellesley or, Natick or Needham and, yeah, exactly, you're going to skew the data.
I think she told me she used some of our
She
surrounding
did,
towns
yeah,
around
but I
here.
do still want to see that, just see it, because, it's going to be, my
It's almost
guess,
as much as the whole town.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 86 grand for
Yeah.
the town employees, although.
bite your
Is
tongue.
the library.
Parks Department just has wage increases. I know where you're
Time and
going, I
place.
know where you're going.
Time and place.
And then level funding through all these small ones, Little League, football, historical, public celebrations.
Where's the funding for the Christmas lights?
That's a good question.
And the reason I bring that up is I had a thought. We have all these little sublines, public celebrations, which includes all of Memorial Day. Then American Legion, which is a different thing. Then the fireworks, which is near and dear to my heart.
I'm suggesting putting it under one umbrella.
And now the Christmas lights,
Yeah.
which was presented to the town as the town would raise 10,000.
Mhm.
The town would fund 10,000, and public donations would fund
Mhm.
10,000.
Mhm.
But it didn't.
It didn't?
Were there $10,000 in donations?
The last, almost before they went up, they were at, I think, 78,
Yeah, I
8,000, I don't know.
I don't know they made it. However, my point is, those companies that donated all that money this year may not realize they're going to be expected to do it every year, which begs the question, is the town going to put up the 20? So,
Yeah.
carrying it all forward, if we're going to put all that kind of money into these various things, it should be one pool.
Like Bill Recca.
And-
Public celebration.
Yeah.
Celebration.
So we had
Under-
that,
yeah.
we touched upon that when Brian Muldoon was on the committee, because we asked that same question, and there was a concern, and it wasn't even just these, it was like all the little ones, can we just group them together? And there was a question about administering it. Like, who would the funds fall under, who would control the spending, et cetera. And that was one of the logistical questions that came.
I'm
No,
not
I think it's a
suggesting
good
taking
point,
it away
yeah.
from the Memorial Day parade. the
But
group
who
that
can
does that would
authorize
still
the
get the
payment
2,000.
for that?
The
Because,
same who authorizes it now. I mean, the money is designated for the parade, but I'm thinking public celebrations department, and then list them all underneath there. So that we don't have all these votes at town meeting about all these subparts, much like we do the borrowing article and some of the other.
I also think it's more transparent because
That too.
they're just kind of sort of hidden. They're not all compiled
Exactly.
together, so people don't really get a general sense of how much we are spending on these things collectively.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting changing the authority levels, changing the designated responsibilities for it. It still has to be authorized by whatever committee is overseeing it, and then it goes through that process. I'm not suggesting changing any of that. Just put it all under one item, and then all your little subparts, rather than have all of
Maybe
these
it's
things.
time to look into some type of revolving fund.
Well, that's another thought too.
yeah, we can do that.
Would also shorten up town meeting a little bit.
It's so much fun.
I won't miss the next one.
Retirement den principal payments has a $41,000 increase. I believe Lisa gave a detailed sheet on that. I didn't put the notes in. I don't know. I believe that includes the estimates for the first year payments from capital this year.
Oh, we haven't even done that.
She's just estimating.
We haven't voted anything, though.
I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on the interest side, we have a decrease in the interest because we retired debt and interest rates are still very low. Retirement pension, $86,000 increase. I think that's a good number. Came from the benefits manager. Workers' comp, $4,000 increase. That's a decent number. It may be trued up. Unemployment compensation. This one is level funded for now. We do actually, the treasurer did request to come and speak to us about this specific budget line item. She did switch us from just to a pay-as-you-go as opposed to just group spend, I think it was called. FICA Medicare is up $18,000. And then health insurance, the estimate is about a $10% increase on the health insurance itself.
The news reported about 12% this last couple of days, and I don't know if it's necessarily municipal or just in general.
This usually
It's
will
a
go
bit
back and
over.
forth over the next couple months.
No discussions about considering it, changing insurance again? Do we know?
Haven't heard any, no.
Off the radar screen.
Is that really going to reduce, though, the overall cost, given that?
You shop it out and find out,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a long process, and you got to start early.
Yeah,
They were all going up.
Yeah, they are all.
That
That's
one.
why.
that's the problem.
Very high.
But we did have a good opportunity a couple of years ago to switch over to Maya for a reduced rate, and the unions have to make that call as well, so they have their own insurance advisory committee, and they were split. They couldn't reach a consensus that worked, so we stayed with Minuteman.
I think didn't
Maya went up huge
Last year, so
Yeah.
in retrospect, it was probably
It was
good, but
for the
you
better.
don't really know.
All right, so that's a walk through just the individual budget line items. So the big ones that have the increases, we are meeting with police, fire, DPW, library. Anyone else that we want to request a meeting with? I originally had talked to the town administrator about maybe having him come in because of the number of line items, but looking at the requests, they're not outlandish. They're not, I mean, town council is a 10% increase, but it's actually been the average that we've had over the last 3 years.
Who's chairing the planning board now, do we know?
I think Jeremy Callahan.
I'm thinking in terms of their budgets. I think we need to know from the town administrator where that matter stands, and we can go back and look at his memo on it, but my memory is pretty clear that he said it was resolved, and I think he even said something at one of the selectmen's meetings
Yeah.
once, that it was resolved, but they weren't in a position to announce it, which makes no sense to me. Because if you have a resolution or a settlement, there's,
Why can't it be released?
why can't it be released exactly? And once that is over and done with, theoretically, that should put the planning and zoning
Yeah.
groups back in circulation, so to speak.
So, anything else? Sorry, I'm looking up a date.
You asked a date about the school committee, and I
Yes,
forget
that's what
what
I'm
date it
looking
was.
for in my email.
It was a Tuesday, I think it was, wasn't it?
I just saw
Yeah.
the two
20
dates, I didn't look at the days. The 20th was one,
22nd or the,
22nd.
February 9th.
no,
That should be fine for me.
Okay.
February 9th.
I know you have a
was-
conflict, you
I have
can't make it.
training.
What's that?
Training.
That's fine. That's okay. As long as you're, if you're okay missing it. It was only those 2 weeks, and the week after, the second week of that is,
They couldn't do any Mondays.
I'm actually not in town the second week, so I had to push for the first week. So, sorry.
So would you not be able to do a Mondays?
I could do it, well, they couldn't do Mondays.
They
No one
can't
on
do
the
Mondays?
BOS could do Mondays. So, look, I'm doing the best I
know,
can.
I'm not.
I'm
that
doing this
wasn't
stuff
directed at
while
you.
I'm trying to consolidate numbers.
Wasn't
and-
directed at you.
So, trying my best. So we are going to talk to the school district on the 9th. We'll have the presentation of the budget at that time with Dr. Malone. Neshoba, I have not heard anything about Neshoba or a timeline for that.
They're still, have they selected a new superintendent?
It's down to 3 at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think.
You're gonna have a second interview.
So we won't get to see Dr. Klimkowitz this time around. I'm gonna miss her.
She's a lovely woman.
She's fun.
It'll be a
She's-
short meeting without her, but she's a
Don't be so
lovely
sure about that. Don't be so sure.
Yeah, and I'll clean up everything down here on the bottom over the coming weekend and send this back out.
So I shouldn't print this right now.
No, I wouldn't print it.
Hasn't
No,
been printed
sorry.
at work tomorrow.
Yeah, because I still have to tie back to the town accountant's
Okay.
sheet also. And I did send a quick note to the town administrator that when we are meeting with the library, that if the Board of Selectmen are interested, because it is such a significant increase, that they're welcome.
Do you have a date with him, Scott?
The library, yeah, we can go over that next. So the department meetings that we have set up. So next week, we have police department. I allotted about an hour because of the personnel requests, and then we have the library coming in at 8 o'clock
That's
after
on.
that. So I think next week will be a longer week.
Out of curiosity, not questioning why.
Is that
not-
better, Mary? Sorry, go ahead.
Not
Yes.
questioning your invitation to them, but the Board of Selectmen can't say or do anything about the library.
I understand, but
Yeah, but I'd hate to,
it's just from an informational perspective, that's all.
PM, police department.
okay.
Okay.
No, I just see that it could create some fireworks, and I don't want to
It
see
wasn't
that
an
happen.
invitation for them to join us in session, it's just they're coming if they want to
No,
sit in the
that-
audience, and, we have an open meeting, so if people in the audience have questions, we take those questions,
I'm not
that's all.
questioning the intent of it as much, I'm just concerned about the result, but it's okay.
All right,
And if, that's the 20th, never mind.
that's the 20th. 27th, we have fire department, which, looking at his request, should only be about a half-hour discussion. And then the treasurer coming in for unemployment, should be a very quick discussion on that. Then on the 3rd, we have DPW. And on the 10th, we currently have no one scheduled. That would be our regularly scheduled meeting, first meeting for February,
I have a conflict on that date.
on the 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to know.
And we can't do it the following week for the same reason, just in case. If we needed to move it a week, I can't do the 17th.
All right, we're gonna have to
I
get
could do
creative.
later that evening, I could do 8 o'clock,
On the 10th, we'll see what we have.
yeah.
Okay, I think, I mean, at some
I
point,
can
once we
try.
get
I've
through
been
the
falling
meetings,
asleep before 8 o'clock every night.
so once we get through the
Or
meetings,
6.
6 would work.
AM,
No, well,
So
yeah, I
is
could
it
do that
the
too.
I'm up.
As long as it can end at 7 p.m.
all right, we can
Figure
figure out a
something
time later on. So once we get through our meetings here and we have a good look at the budget, we'll do a regroup. I know at some point the Board of Selectmen want to start meeting in February also, to have discussions. So that may come up onto the calendar also at that point in time. So right now, I guess our takeaways are, I will get the model finalized over this coming weekend. And we have our meetings coming up, and that's it. I have a couple follow-up questions to the town administrator that I'll send off an email for at some point. And then we have the schools on the 9th.
Just one question about the 9th. If Mary Ann can't be here, how do we meet at all without a quorum?
We don't have quorum, but we can sit at the table.
We can meet
Yeah,
and
we can
and
still meet.
here we just
can't
don't
make-
decide.
If it's really inclement weather, then I will be here. It's just a matter of I have a meeting that we meet in Newton on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
So,
I'm just hoping no inclement weather. I'd rather you have your meeting and get that over with too.
No inclement weather.
Can you run down just for my notes the couple of cues to the town administrator? I know one was planning board budget,
Christmas light funding.
celebration funding.
Yeah, celebration funding.
Okay, thanks.
Actually, I have that as two different ones. One is the Christmas light funding because of the lack of
Mhm.
the donations, and then grouping the small celebration line items together, possibly into a revolving fund.
Planning board budget.
Yeah, so the legal issues, the question is, if the legal issues are resolved, can we reestablish something, and what's the mechanism for it?
Thanks. I
All
was
right.
listening but not writing anything down.
It's all right. I was just talking, not writing. All right, so I guess that's all for the budget right now. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Next on new business is the Devon's analysis questionnaire. I did not have a chance to do anything when you're on vacation for the first time in a long time. I got lazy. I will try and pull something together over the next probably month. I'm not going to rush it.
On that subject, as I was
Mhm.
decluttering, I did collect a lot of the stuff that I had.
Okay.
And plus I have a whole box of all the Devon's 2B issues, which have a lot of financial.
How old is it though? Because it may be obsolete. If it's more than.
Yeah, I would guess it's
6,
probably
5,
more,
6
it's
years.
obsolete, and I think the more current that Vincent Norman did is I have that as
Okay.
well.
does it make more sense to table that until after?
Town meeting.
Mm.
Yeah, I almost think so. We're not gonna do a citizen's petition or a home rule
No,
petition.
no, we're
or
not going to do
whatever.
anything for. I'm just trying to get something done on it, even if we. Because we've done that for the last 2 years. Let's do it after town meeting. Then town meeting comes and goes, and then
And
all
then
of a
summer
sudden it's.
happens, and, yeah,
Yeah, summer happens. So I'm going to keep it as an old business item going forward.
okay.
And
And we will
work
get to
on
it,
it.
we get to it.
Yeah, when we get to it, we get to it. I'd like to have at least a questionnaire that we can hash. I mean, I think hashing it out should take maybe half an hour of discussion. And we'll just, that we can put on the back burner until we're ready to go.
Okay. I think I listed some of the questions that we talked about putting on the survey in here. Yeah.
Mail, I did not get a chance to collect mail this week. Minutes, we have one minutes from December 10th, 2015. I looked them over, I was fine with them. Have you had a chance to look at them?
You want to take a quick look? There's not much to them.
One pager.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There wasn't, oh, for crying out loud.
I'm supposed to get it.
You're good? Okay. Then I'll take a motion for approval, if there is one.
I move that we approve the December 10, 2015 minutes as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. 3-0 unanimous. Go on, sign that and send it back, please.
Oh, I reduced you in rank. I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice that. I changed it.
Sure, she was happy.
I'm unconcerned.
I think she was quite happy. Yes. I'm no longer the vice chair. Someday you could sit in this seat. This could be all yours. Please take it.
I keep trying to find you somebody and everybody just says, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's what I get too.
I have someone who's interested still.
Good.
So he was going to come this evening, but then found out that I was sick, so decided to
Okay,
avoid me.
keep after it.
Mm.
All right, upcoming business, 5-year budget model still just on upcoming business to hash that out. Committee updates, by board was supposed to meet, but that actually got postponed. I think we were supposed to meet last week or this week. Got postponed because the budget, no one's looked at the budget, so we didn't think there was much for discussion. And going to the roundtable, open up to members first.
Nothing.
Nothing? No? Mary?
Can I just tell you real quick about
Sure.
capital?
Yes, please, thank you.
We have asked, and it'll be on the selectmen's agenda for Tuesday, for $100,000 from UDAG, because we have to have qualified bridge engineers do a study, and we want to get that started. I don't know if you follow anything in the paper. I know Lowell has got a huge problem with bridges, and the state has all kinds of new rules and regs. And you need to have someone specific. The superintendent said he isn't qualified, and neither is the town engineer. And we felt we needed to get that started.
Okay.
So.
Is this for all the bridges in town?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we specifically, right now, we're working with Shirley Street, and then we have a problem down here in West Main. So.
Yep. Okay. All right, thank you.
So that was something capital planning is
We've asked,
suggesting independent of DPW, but it will be funded through the
well,
DPW.
we were meeting with the DPW superintendent at the time, and how can we get this started and
Sure.
not wait until town meeting? So we all felt, and then we'll vote. And I think the figures Lisa gave you was probably because she thought what we've looked at so far will probably approve, but we will take our final votes on next
And it's
Wednesday.
Only for the bridges?
The 100,000.
That, but the 100,000,
100,000,
yes,
okay.
yes, a bridge engineer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, that's all for the round table. Next scheduled meeting is next Wednesday, January 20th, with the police department and the library. And it's at 7 o'clock.
I could just hang out here after I finish this, sure.
You could. Anything else from anyone? No, if not, I'll take a motion to adjourn at 7:55.
Make a motion to adjourn at 7:55 p.m.
Second.
Any further discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.